Welcome to this explainer. Let's get right into it. Today, we're exploring a massive shift in the digital world, specifically how modern systems have evolved from these cold, static setups into living, reacting ecosystems. Think about it. If you order a ride and the driver's location is even a few minutes stale, you're standing out in the rain looking for a ghost car. Or if your credit card gets swiped overseas and the bank waits 12 hours to tell you, yeah, that money's already gone. We expect absolute immediacy now, and it's totally transformed computing. So if you've ever wondered how your fraud alerts fire instantly or how global platforms update in milliseconds, you're in exactly the right place. I absolutely love this quote. Modern digital systems increasingly operate like live organisms. It just perfectly nails the reality of today's tech. We can't think of infrastructure as just some dumb machine sitting around waiting for a human to hit refresh anymore. To survive today's high-stakes digital economy, it has to constantly sense, react, coordinate, and adapt in real time. It's literally like a biological nervous system. You know how your hand instantly pulls back from a hot stove the second it feels the heat? That's exactly what these digital systems are doing with massive amounts of data right as it happens.
Let's look at why the old way of doing things just doesn't cut it anymore. Think of traditional batch processing kind of like a daily newspaper. You get a huge dump of yesterday's news all at once. That's delayed intelligence. Imagine catching a fraudulent charge 12 hours after your account was drained. No way, right? Now compare that to streaming architectures. They're more like a live, continuous news feed. Picture yourself at the grocery store. You swipe your card, there's that tiny 2-second pause, and boom, approved. In that literal blink of an eye, the system analyzed the swipe, checked your location, verified your balance, and definitively proved it wasn't fraud. That continuous awareness is the secret sauce keeping the modern world moving.
So to really wrap our heads around this shift, let's dive into Section 1, from batch to streaming. We've got to look at how traditional enterprise systems used to handle data, basically treating it like a static fossil.
Okay, picture a traditional business day. Data just kind of piles up all day long, sitting there completely idle as people buy things. Then, at a hard cutoff, maybe 8 p.m., everything stops. Midnight rolls around and the system fires up these massive ETL jobs: extract, transform, and load. Think of an ETL job as a giant digital forklift, slowly moving mountains of daily records from one database to another. Finally, by 6 a.m., some scheduled reports pop out for executives to read over coffee. This old-school way of hoarding data for hours was perfectly fine if you just wanted to know how many shoes you sold yesterday. But give it a second's thought. That delay is a total deal-breaker for today's apps. A ride-sharing app needs driver updates every single second, not every 10 minutes.
Which brings us right to Section 2, the anatomy of events. Let's peel back the curtain and look at the actual building blocks that make up this modern operational nervous system.
At its absolute core, what actually is an event? Well, it's just a digital representation that something happened. A payment cleared, a user clicked add to cart, a temperature sensor in a warehouse ticked down 1 degree. The game-changing thing here is that streaming architectures treat these live, continuous events as the primary reality, rather than relying on a static snapshot of a database. This is a massive mindset shift for developers. Instead of constantly asking a database, hey, what's our current inventory? The system just continuously listens to the heartbeat of events, tracking what just happened right now. You're not looking at a static spreadsheet anymore. You're literally feeling the pulse of the business as it happens.
Now, think about how these systems actually talk to each other. In the old direct service call model, systems are super tightly coupled. It's like a fragile chain. If service A needs service B, and service B crashes because it's overloaded, the whole chain snaps, the website goes down, and you've got a massive downstream failure. But in event streaming ecosystems, the rules completely change. Tech like Apache Kafka, which was built specifically for this exact purpose, acts as a massive distributed safety net. Apps just publish their events into a continuous stream, and other systems consume them whenever they're ready. It's loosely coupled with this continuous, durable buffering. And why does that matter? Because if one consuming service completely crashes and goes offline, it doesn't take the rest of the company down with it. The events just hang out safely in the stream, buffered and protected, waiting for the service to wake back up and pick up exactly where it left off.
Let's make this totally concrete. Moving on to Section 3, real-world streaming ecosystems. We're going to see this living organism in action.
Let's watch this biological nervous system react in a really high-stakes scenario, the Amazon purchase cascade. When you click buy, that single action is like skipping a stone across a pond. Instantly, it triggers a massive cascade of completely independent, simultaneous ripples. Your inventory drops by 1. Fraud-checking algorithms fire. Your recommendations update instantly. A shipping workflow alerts a massive fulfillment center. Analytics pipelines grab the behavioral data, and financial systems start moving the money. Hundreds of totally decoupled systems are reacting in real time to that one single click, all happening in parallel, and no one has to wait in line.
And it's definitely not just retail. Massive global heavyweights rely entirely on this continuous streaming architecture. Uber uses it to constantly ingest dynamic traffic conditions, recalculate surge pricing, and match you with a driver in mere milliseconds. And Netflix? Netflix uses it in a truly fascinating way. They aren't just sending a movie to your TV. Every single second, your TV is quietly whispering tiny events back to Netflix, saying stuff like, "Uh-oh, my bandwidth just dropped," or "I'm about to buffer." Netflix eats those events instantly, personalizing the stream and smoothly downgrading your video quality just a tiny bit so you never, ever see that dreaded spinning wheel of death. You simply can't do that with overnight batch processing. You need a living, breathing stream.
Of course, building a living software organism like this comes with a hidden immune system of serious complexities. That brings us to Section 4, Hidden Engineering Challenges.
Let's talk about the nightmare of chronological order. What on earth happens when millions of events arrive out of sequence? It's exactly like reading a book where Chapter 5 gets delivered in the mail before Chapter 4. Because of network blips, automatic retries, or server routing hiccups, distributed systems naturally scramble timelines. An event from 1:01 p.m. might hit the central server after an event from 1:02 p.m. Now, if you're building a strict workflow, like a bank withdrawal, getting events out of order isn't just a minor glitch, it's a catastrophe. Imagine the system processing your massive rent payment before it processes your freshly deposited paycheck. Boom, unfair overdraft fees for millions of people. It's a huge hurdle.
Then we have the absolute beast of state management. In a streaming world, state basically just means memory. Step 1 is pretty easy, analyzing continuous live credit card swipes as they happen. But step 2, that's where it gets crazy. The system has to instantly remember your historical spending behavior for context. Seeing a $500 TV purchase in Tokyo is one thing, but the system needs to instantly know you live in New York and haven't ever traveled to Japan. And step 3 just cranks the difficulty to 11. Maintaining that massive, consistent memory state across millions of distributed computers at the exact same time. Stream processing engines like Apache Flink exist specifically to tackle this, juggling the past while processing the immediate present, all on the fly.
Oh, and we absolutely need to talk about back pressure. This is a super destabilizing condition. Imagine a massive, unexpected flash sale where 100,000 people all smash the buy button at the exact same second. The event volume spikes violently. If your downstream shipping system can only handle 1,000 orders a second, a digital traffic jam forms. As that queue grows, latency shoots up and pressure builds backward through the entire pipeline. If streaming platforms don't actively manage and balance this massive throughput with responsiveness, the whole system will literally crash under its own weight.
Because everything is so deeply decoupled, figuring out what broke is notoriously tough. When latency spikes and things inevitably go sideways, engineers hit a wall of frantic questions. Did the partitions just rebalance? Are the consumers lagging behind the incoming fire hose of data? Did state synchronization fail globally? Is the cloud infrastructure suddenly throttling us? Tracing one single tiny delayed event through a massive streaming ecosystem requires insane, sophisticated observability. Honestly, it's a lot like trying to find a needle in a digital haystack, except the haystack is currently on fire.
Despite all those challenges, this is where everything is headed. Let's look at Section 5, the event-driven future, to see exactly what this tech is unlocking.
Streaming is increasingly becoming the invisible foundation of our entire digital economy. In AI, we're seeing inference systems reacting to live telemetry in literal milliseconds to make immediate decisions. In cybersecurity, modern defense platforms correlate network telemetry live, catching hackers right in the middle of a breach, instead of just reading a log about it the next morning. And look at edge computing with IoT devices. Imagine a massive, high-speed robotic arm in a smart factory. If a human accidentally steps in its path, it absolutely cannot afford to send a warning to a cloud server hundreds of miles away and wait for permission to stop. It processes that stream locally, right at the edge, halting the arm in a fraction of a millisecond. Streaming is the underlying coordination layer making all of that possible.
We're even seeing this wild philosophical shift towards something called event sourcing. This means instead of just overwriting a database to show the final state, you preserve every single state transition as a live, immutable event. Think of it less like a dictionary that just gives you the final answer, and more like an airplane's flight data recorder or an accountant's ledger. You don't just look at a bank account and see a final balance of $100. You keep a permanent record of every single deposit and withdrawal that ever happened to get to that $100. The stream of events literally becomes the absolute source of truth. If you ever need to figure out exactly how the system got to where it is, or recover from a massive crash, you just replay the historical tape of events right from the beginning. It's brilliant.
So what's the big takeaway here? Let's zoom out. Streaming architectures are not just faster pipelines trying to speed up old nightly batch jobs. That's missing the point entirely. They represent a fundamentally different operational model. This is a profound leap away from static, periodic data checking and a bold move into continuous, event-driven intelligence systems that coordinate and react at actual machine speed.
I want to leave you with this final thought. The next time an AI reacts to your prompt instantly, or you feel that quick buzz of a fraud alert on your phone, will you recognize the massive, invisible nervous system coordinating it all right under the surface? As modern enterprises continue to ditch static databases and behave more like live, adaptive ecosystems, understanding this invisible infrastructure really changes how you look at every single digital interaction. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.